I am going to talk about pharmaceutical pilot plant and scale up techniques. So, what is pharmaceutical pilot plant and scale up techniques? Scale up techniques is increasing the size, increasing the volume of the product. Scale up. Say in lab scale, we used to manufacture in mortar and pestle, beaker, conical flask, etc. But in industry, we are going to use very large equipment. Say for example, the 2000 liter tanks, 10,000 liter tanks for syrups, and for tableting machine. Here we use it single punch or 10 punch machines. In industry, we will be using 50 double punch, 100 punch machines. That is, within a day, 10 lakh tablets will be manufactured. So, how to scale up from lab level to industrial level is what we are going to discuss in this chapter. And pilot plant is a plant where this scale up technique will be studied. So, like I mentioned briefly, scale up is generally defined as the process of increasing the batch size. You are mixing in the laboratory in a mortar and pestle using a mortar and pestle, a powdering or mixing with using a glass rod. But once it comes to industrial level, the volume will be very high. So in that case, how we are going to mix it? Say 500 milligram, 500 grams, 500 kilograms of paracetamol powder with 100 kilograms of lactose, and this we are going to convert it into a coherent mass using mucilage of starch. All these involves huge machineries. You might have studied about all these machineries in your engineering subject, that you are going to implement it. How you are going to implement in actual manufacturing is the thing we are going to study in pilot plant chapter. So like I mentioned, scale up of a process can also be viewed as a procedure for applying the same process to different output volumes. Output volume in the sense, in college level we have single punch machine or Remy 10 punch machines also. In that machine we are manufacturing the tablet for learning purpose. But once we go to the industry, we will be using high speed compression machines. So the whole thing will change once we are using high speed compression machines, that we are going to study in this scale up chapter. Scale up also means enlarging the output by increasing the speed tablet compression. And for this to happen, in moving from R&D to production, we should have a pilot plant to study how to implement the increase in the volume, output volume. That plant, that unit is called as pilot plant or pilot scale. So pilot scale is also defined as the manufacturing of drug product by a procedure fully representative of and simulating that used for full manufacturing scale. What do we mean by this one? It means the final manufacturing, what all the equipments we are going to use, say punching machine or mixing equipment or whatever it may be, in that machineries we should do our pilot plant in for scale up process also. Thereby what will happen, we can transfer the technology seamlessly from the lab scale to pilot scale to the industrial scale. So this scale also produces enough product for clinical testing and samples for manufacturing. For phase 1, 2, 3, 4 trials, we need lakhs and lakhs of the tablets or lakhs and lakh units of the liquid preparations. So in that scale, for that quantity, our GMP CGMP says that we should have the product manufactured from the machineries which are going to be used for marketing purpose also. That for clinical trials we should not produce smaller equipment or simpler equipment. We should use the same equipments which is going to be used for the final product also. So dimensional analysis, I am not going to take much time on dimensional analysis means the units which we are going to use in this chapter or anywhere else should be dimensionally homogeneous, dimensionally homogeneous. Supac system, CGS system, whatever, MKS system, whatever it may be, it should be dimensionally homogeneous. That is, the unit should be homogeneous. I'll go to the last slide to take much time. See, this is the one. Length m, kilogram, kg, second, Kelvin, mole, ampere. Luminous intensity, that unit which familiar units known to everybody. And also dimensionally, if you are using Supac systems, CGS system, NKM system, everywhere you should use it. Say for example, suppose you are weighing paracetamol powder, say 50 kilograms. In that you are going to use talc. You are going to use talc 10 grams. You should mention it as 0.01 kilogram. Here you should not mention it as for 10 grams. That is what we call it as dimensionally homogeneous. Temperature, everywhere use it centigrade. Everywhere you use it centigrade. Similarly, everywhere when you are going to use it RPM, revolution per minute. Revolution per minute. So that is what you call it as dimensionally homogeneous. Next we move on. Primary functions of the pharmaceutical pilot plant. So what are the primary functions of a pharmaceutical pilot plant? So the function is to ensure that the newly formulated tablets will prove to be efficiently, economically and consistently reproducible on a production scale. Efficiently, economically, consistently reproducible on a production. That means any day you manufacture, once you follow the documented forms of how to manufacture a particular formulation, you should get the same result, reproducible. Efficiently means the manufacturing should be efficiently done. That is what the intended output should come. The intended outcome should be the, say for example, if you keep the drying temperature at 40 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes, then it should get dried to the room temperature, so that is what called efficiently output. Every time you keep it at 40 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes, every time it should be dried to the room temperature. That is what you call it as efficient. Economically means, as you know, nobody will sell the paracetamol or any tablet at higher cost to compete in the market. Everybody will sell it to the affordable cost. Consistently reproducible, every time you use the same method, same formulation, same process, you should get the same result. That result should pass all the quality assurance, quality control parameters. Low production cost naturally will provide the competitive advantage. So the physical properties and specification, either it should match those established by the product formulator, pilot plant staff and the QC department, or it can follow any pharmacopoeia, Indian pharmacopoeia or British pharmacopoeia or United States pharmacopoeia. What the output should have the specification as prescribed in the pharmacopoeia, you should also produce in that same quality. That is, suppose your finished product, the hardness should be 4 to 6, it should be between 4 and 6. And weight variation, there are norms of weight variation test. Say for example, in US pharmacopoeia, if the tablet weight is less than 130 milligram, then the weight variation allowed is 10%. Suppose 130 to 324 milligram, the weight variation permitted is 7.5%. And if the tablet weight is beyond 324 milligram, the weight variation permitted is 5%. It should have these, it should pass in these norms all the time. That is what you call it as it follows the specifications. So next we move on to selected factors to be considered during development. So the first one is efficient flow of granules. So for a perfect tablet to be manufactured, the foremost thing is efficient flow of granules. Now if you have seen the compression machine, tablet compression machine, hopper is there. In that hopper you are going to add all the granules for converting it into tablets. So in that granules, in that hopper, granules are fed into it, and these granules slowly come down and it will fill into the die cavities, and when it is flowing from the hopper into the die cavity, the smooth flow the smooth flow should be there, efficient flow of granules. When it just you have to remember, the die cavities are rotating at a very high speed, so with split second only it will get for the granules to fill into the die cavity. Just for example, the die cavity should be filled with 600 milligram. Within flash of a second, 600 milligram should fall into the die cavities and it will move. So for that to happen, the granule should flow very smoothly, very freely into the die cavities. If it flows very smoothly, then the output will also be uniform. What do you mean by output? 600, the tablet weight should be 600 milligram. When the tablet weight is 600 milligram, it will pass the weight variation test. All the tablet will pass the test. Do you understand? For the tablet to pass the test, first and foremost thing is the tablet weight should be uniform. For that to happen, the granule should flow very freely, smoothly into the die cavity from hopper. Efficient flow. Another some more reasons for passing in the weight variation test smooth flow is particle size distribution of granules accurately defined. If you remember, in physical pharmacy, particle size distribution was already discussed. There you should get a smooth curve, particle size distribution curve, that is a bell shaped curve. That means the particle size distribution should follow a bell shaped curve. When it follows a bell shaped curve, then naturally the weight variation, passing in weight variation test or filling into the die cavities will be uniform. So for that to happen, glidants such as talc, starch or magnesium stearate must be indicated for large scale manufacture. And also efficiency must be checked every every gap. You have to take the sample and test it. You have to take the sample and test it, because just imagine, it's a high speed machine. Within 1 hour it will produce 1 lakh. So 8 hours in a working day it produces 8 lakhs. So suppose any mistake has happened, if you don't check it in time, then most of the tablets manufactured in that time period will be lost. So immediate to correct it. So in process checking is essential when you are using the high speed machines. Any deficiency can be corrected. Any deficiency of weight variation can be corrected by increasing the concentration of fines. That I will explain to you while we are doing in the laboratory. Next, B, ease of compression, speed of manufacture, yield of finished product. I am not going to go in detail about this one. Ease of compression means the ease with which, like I mentioned in the previous slide, a split second the granule should fill into the die cavity. Similarly, split second it will only the granules get to be compressed, to be converted from the granule form into a compressed tablet. Within split second the compression should happen. So that the tablet hardness will be uniform. So excessive compressional forces or excessive hardness will lead to failure in the quality control test. So ease of compression, speed of manufacture, yield of finished product, all are interlinked with each other. All these are depends upon the quality of the granules. So the quality of the granules are correct, then you will get the perfectly compressed tablets. Content uniformity. What is content uniformity? Content uniformity means the tablet, each and every tablet should have same concentration of the drug. For example, 600 milligram of the tablet consists of 500 milligram of paracetamol. If you fill it with 600 milligram, always it will be 500 milligram of paracetamol tablet. Suppose you mix it, suppose you load into the die cavity 580 milligram of granules, same ratio of paracetamol will also be not there in that particular tablet. So smooth filling, ease of compression will give you content uniformity. Another reason is also there. 600 milligram you have filled, but sometimes if the mixing is not correct, if particle size distribution is not correct, if mixing time is not correct, some error follows, then also you won't get the same concentration of the drug in each and every tablet. Advantage of accurately defined variable. What are the drying time, residual moisture, granule particle size distribution, percentage of fine. See, simply let me tell you. Suppose your drying machine, you have adjusted to 40 degree centigrade for 20 minutes. That means it should heat to 40 degree centigrade. It should not heat 38 degree centigrade, or it should not heat 42 degree centigrade. If that happens, then naturally what will happen? Your output will not be passing the quality control test, right? So that means your machine should work properly. Your maintenance of the machine should be done periodically. If all these things are there, then your tablet will naturally pass the quality assurance test. Each and every tablets out of 10 lakh tablets manufactured in a day, in another day will pass the test. Types of organizational structures responsible for pilot operation. So now we are getting into the real pilot plant scale up setup market. That will be thrown out, right? Till they get the correct method, they will be doing by themselves, by the persons already working in that organization. Now what about large company? Let's see a flow diagram first. Pharmaceutical product. Pharmaceutical development team may be responsible for the transfer of new formulations to production. Developmental team may report. See, these are all, don't worry about all these things. Various organizational structures. So now there are three types of organizational structures, right? Three types. Now first one is research pharmacist, responsible for initial scale up and initial production runs. What do you mean by research pharmacist? Research pharmacist, suppose one of you, after completing your B Pharm and M Pharm, you go to an organization in R&D department. You are appointed as a research pharmacist. You are appointed as a research pharmacist R&D or R&D executive. It depends upon the designation. Let us assume you are research pharmacist. Now, what you will be doing as a research pharmacist day in and day out in your R&D, you will be checking for new machineries, you will be checking for new ingredients. Always you are looking out for improving the existing products in your organization. At the same time, any new formulation comes, you will strive yourself to prepare a newer formulation with new ingredients, new equipments, newer things available in the market. Are you following me? In R&D, you always look out for newer things. You always look out for improving the present formulation. That means you have the knowledge of what is available latest in and around the pharmaceutical industry. Correct? In and pharmaceutical industry, you are very much to what is going on in pharma industries everywhere. Okay, right. Now let's go to the next slide. See, this is a small flow chart. You can see the red line and white lines, right? I am not going to take much time on red and white lines. So what I would like you to see is, so this is the hierarchy. Director of Pharmaceutical Research, under him manager of solid dosage form research, under him or her pharmaceutical research staff. That is, you are the pharmaceutical research staff. You are the person in R&D department at lowest level. You are reporting, suppose you are in the pharmaceutical research in tablet or solid dosage form, you are reporting to the manager of solid dosage form, and that manager will be reporting to the director of pharmaceutical research, right? On the other side, This is production area. In any pharmaceutical organization, three major departments are there. One is the research department, another is the production department, another is the quality assurance department. So here now quality assurance have not come inside. Right now we are having the research R&D department and production department. So under production department only manufacturing is going on. Under R&D department only newer things research work is going on. Now we have deputed R&D staff to the production area for pilot plant and scale up study. Do you understand? Research R&D person is going to the production area to do the R&D study. Right. Now let us see the advantage, then you will understand better. The research pharmacist responsible for initial scale up and initial production. The tablet manufacturers who report administrative responsible for scale up and initial production runs of the tablet formula. Advantages: tablet formulators directly involved in the management section in the production division. Communicating stability data, physical proper reason for the procedure adopted is best conveyed by the tablet formulator. Forget about what is present on the screen, just you listen to me. Now R&D person knows about newer things, correct? Production person knows about how a production, that is how a equipments big equipments works. He is directly operating, switching on, switching off, directly operating. R&D person does not know exactly how a big equipment operates. His knowledge is on newer ideas. Production person may not be aware of what are newer things, but he knows how a big machine operates. Now when R&D person is doing the pilot plant study in production department, the advantage is this R&D person will first hand see how his new formulation is working in production department, and production people can immediately tell to the R&D person, hey man, your new formulation will not work in these bigger machines, right? Either you buy me newer machines or change your formulation. So there itself the major decisions will be taken. Or R&D person may say, hey, you are using such a big instrument, right? You can add this also, it will work, right? Then he will learn. The production man will learn, oh, like that, okay, he will implement it. This is vice versa. There, then and there itself, they will decide which is working, which will not work. So scale up technique can be very easily, seamlessly executed once the research pharmacist is doing the pilot plant study, scale up study in production department. Do you get my point? Individuals with the most technical information are directly involved in the initial product. That is what I mentioned you. So the R&D person will see how how big machines work, and production man will learn from the R&D person what are all the newer things that are available in the market. It is win-win situation. Both will understand, both will learn a few things from others. This is the advantage of research pharmacist going to the production and doing the work. And next one, B. First is research pharmacist. Next one is this pharmaceutical pilot plant controlled by pharmaceutical research. That is R&D persons alone are doing the pilot study. R&D persons alone are doing the pilot plant scale up study. Okay. Now let us see. So this is the flow chart here. On your left, director pharmaceutical research. Under him there are manager of solid dosage form. Under him pharmaceutical research. This sequence already we saw in the previous slide. Now under R&D we have a pilot plant. Under R&D we have a pilot plant, and under this manager of pilot plant we have pharmacist and engineers. These pharmacists and engineers are involved in the scale up techniques. Okay, scale up techniques. So as we saw in the last slide, A technique, the production department is there, director of production, manager, section head, operators. Now here pharmacists and engineers are involved in performing the involved in performing the scale up techniques, right? So now what are the advantages and disadvantages we will see. So now what will happen, R&D persons, pilot plant under research control, they always look out for the newer things. So new processing equipment, they will plan in such a way how newer equipments can be used effectively, and they will always look for automatic machines, automated procedures, and also they will actively investigate the newer excipients that have come into the market. So they were always looking out for the newer things, as I mentioned earlier also. So the company will get new processing equipment, automatic procedures, many new excipients will come into the company. So these are all the advantages. Scale up runs can be observed by production and QC. So here the work is done by the R&D people. The production people will come and see how they are doing it. Engineering, they have this R&D department, have access to the engineering department. So what will happen, newer instruments, newer machineries will come, the installation, maintenance and repair work will be done by the engineering department. And while doing this one, these engineers can take the help from the production department, because production department are the ultimate persons who are going to organize, who are going to run these machineries. They will get some knowledge about it. So they will this R&D department will utilize the experience of the production department also. But disadvantage is there. Inadequate time may be provided to solve. See, actually these R&D persons, they run it. If something is not coming or working, they will go for the other one. They will go for they won't try once again. Suppose this ingredient is, this newer excipient is not giving the proper result, they will try another excipient, right? That means what will happen, they don't take time to solve the issue. Similarly, one big instrument machinery they wanted to use, if they are not getting a proper output, they want to they immediately want to have another equipment, another machineries. So these are the disadvantages. Advantage is newer equipments, newer ingredients, newer ideas are there. Disadvantages, they will have the alternate ideas always. They will go for the alternate, right? Let us see the third one, controlled by the production division. First one, research pharmacist. Second one, R&D department. Now this scale up pilot plant work is controlled by the production department. So now here left side already we saw director R&D, manager R&D. Now right side production director, manager of production, right? And they have another division, section head of pilot plant and development. This is the person, they and the operators are going to do it. Operators are going to, section head of pilot plant and operators are going to perform this one. Okay. Now what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages? The formulator is aware of facilities available in the production division. See here what happened, the production department, if they wanted to do pilot plant, then what do is, they don't want to change newer machines, because what all the facilities they are available in their department, they are very happy about it. They are already doing it. That is a routine job. Even the new product is coming, their job is routine, right? Ingredients will change, but the process will be, the ingredients will change, but the process is same. So daily, as usual, they have to switch on, switch. They know everything about the machines, everything they know about it. So they did not have to do anything different because of the new product, and easily interact with the production. Any problem is there in this pilot plant, they can talk with their colleagues, their own colleagues. Hey, this is the problem I'm getting with this new ingredient, what shall we do? They will offer the solution. Then and there they will correct it. Troubleshooting will be done immediately by themselves. They do not have to wait for R&D people, right? But the disadvantage is there. See, they are used to the same machineries and they don't want to have newer machineries. Newer machineries mean they have to learn it. and they have to learn it, means that is entirely different technique. They don't want to learn it. They don't want to learn it. So instead they will say the newer machine will have that problem, this problem, instead we will use the same machines, like that they will start telling. And production schedule is bound to make even sensitive to production priorities. That means they are already used to a particular sequence of things from morning to evening, right? They will see that the sequence is not disturbed. That sequence is not disturbed. So how to implement the new formulation without disturbing their own sequence? All these days they will check it. So instead of giving importance to the production, they will give importance to their own scheme of things from morning to the evening. So as a consequence, what will happen is new manufacturing procedure will be given lower priority. New sequence, they want to adapt the same thing, but for the new formulation also. That is what will happen once we give that responsibility to the production department. So once again I will summarize what we have discussed. Research pharmacist, the research person will come to production department and do the pilot plant study. Second one is R&D department, they themselves will do the pilot plant study with the help of production people. So what the advantage is, newer equipments will come, new procedures will be there, new excipients will be there, engineers will be there to adjust the machine, customize the machine according to the company requirements. But disadvantage is, if something is not working, they will change it immediately. They will change it, right? And third, last one is, if that pilot plant and scale up technique is done by the production department, there are a lot of advantages. They will understand easily how to adapt the new formulation into production, but they want to do with the own existing machine. They don't want to have newer machines. They don't want to learn newer things. So they want to same scheme of things morning to evening they should maintain. Status quo they want to maintain. So that is the advantage and disadvantage of the pilot plant study in production department. Now educational backgrounds of pilot plant personnel. Here I would like to mention, don't take this very seriously, because abroad engineers used to operate the machines. But in India, pharmacists are operating the machines. That is, B Pharm qualified person, M Pharm qualified persons are operating in the production department, in the R&D department, in quality control department. So educational background I am not going to discuss much about it. So next one is seventh. So now next slide, pilot plant design for tablet development. Pilot plant design. See, pilot plant should be there for all the formulations, tablet formulations, liquid formulations, injectables, semi-solid formulations, or aerosol formulations. Now I am going to discuss in detail about tablet formulation, because you are more familiar about tablet manufacturing than other. That is, more than 80% of the formulations are in the market or tablet form, not dose or solid dosage forms. That's why I am going to talk more about the tablet dosage form. So initially design, adequate lighting should be there, adequate ventilation should be there. You should feel comfortable when you are working in the pharmaceutical organization. You should feel comfortable, feel good factor should be there, right? Adequate lighting, adequate ventilation, right? And also air circulation should be there. There should not be any microorganisms, dust, right? Suppose you sneeze in an aseptic area, that is not correct, right? So naturally the design is in such a way that you should feel comfortable. The air inside, air filtration should be there, dust filter should be there, humidity, air conditioning, everything should make you feel comfortable to work in a pharmaceutical organization, right? And air contaminations, there should not be any air contamination, because it will make the product unusable, right? Unusable. And also this dust will create lot of issues during coating process, right, during coating process and during compression process. This dust will create lot of issue. You should avoid it. Contaminant should not be there. And equipment shall be of appropriate design. Another design is all the equipment. Say for example, if you want to manufacture 1 lakh tablets per day, you have 10 or 20 station tableting machine. Don't have biggest machine and run for at half speed. That means electrical consumption will be very high, right? And also you are going to pay salary full day for a person, but your the productivity will be very less. Sorry, productivity will be very less. So the equipment shall be of appropriate design. Suppose you want to manufacture 10 lakh tablets, all the equipments in that department should, in tablet department, should be compatible for manufacturing 10 lakh tablets, right? Right. So say, what happens is some of the companies, they will compromise some places. Say for example, the mixing they can do only 250 kilograms at one time, right? So they have to do mixing 4 times to make it to 1000 kilograms, but compression will be very fast. 1000 kilogram of granules can be compressed within 6 hours. This is within a working day. But tablet granules preparation, they have to do 4 times, right? Now what will happen, till the granules, complete granule manufacturing is over, compression team will be very free. They will not be doing any work, right? And that should not be there. It should match everywhere. It should match, right? And also located in facilitate operation. Say for example, on one side you are having the weighing machines for take weighing of all the ingredients. As soon as weighing is over, you have to take it to the mixing, convert it into coherent mass, adding the mucilage of starch or granulating agent, right? Immediately next to it, dryer should be there, dryer should be there, and also sieving machine should be there, right? Immediately after that, you are going to mixing equipment, another dry mixing equipment to mix with the talc, magnesium stearate, glidants and other things, right? Next it should move into the compression department. So as far as possible, all should be in the same floor, right? You can restrict the movement. Once you are having lot of movement, there is a chances of contamination. Chances of contamination, chances you have to clean it more, maintenance becomes an issue. So the equipment should also be not reactive, additive, absorptive, very easy to maintain, right? Very easy to maintain. Safety, identity, strength, quality, purity of the product. There should not be any change in the safety, identity, strength, quality or purity of the drug product. So lubricants or coolants for that are used in all the machineries should not contaminate the oils. We use it in the machineries for running it smoothly. That should not contaminate our products. So now floor plan of the tablet development. Uh, I assume that you all have engineering. You remember the engineering knowledge, pharmaceutical engineering, where you studied about lot of machineries. So now this is your pilot plant. This is your pilot plant. You can see the pilot plant, right? Can you see the tablet compression, right? Then coating area, granulating area, blending area, drying area, milling area, right? And then packaging, conference room, manager office, quarantine, right? This is the just 1 second. I will select one pointer, right? Pointer, so that it will be you can see the pointer. Okay. 1 second. I'm just not able to find a pointer. Right. I have second a laser pointer. Right. Now this visibility is good. So this is tablet. So now this is what you saw in the previous slide, right? tablet compression 1.1, 1.2. So what will be there in the tablet compression area in a pilot plant? What will be there? 1.1 indicates heavy duty tablet press. That is the tablet. If your tablet is heavy duty, the heavy duty means the tablet size will be like bolus. Bolus means 1 gram, 1.2 gram size tablets, very big tablets. And 1.2 is the rotary tablet press 54 station machine, right? 1.3 is 16 station rotary tablet machine. 1.4 is compression coating tablet press. 1.5 is single punch tablet press. 1.6 tablet de-duster, removing the dust from the surface of the compressed tablets. 1.7 is the storage cabinet for punches and dies. Bench top for wall cabinets. This entire team is the bench top for wall cabinets. And 1.9 is the tools and vacuum cleaner. So now what did you understand from this slide? So this is the compression area. This is the compression area of the pilot plant, right? So these are all the compression machines are there. Now you have to select which compression machine is going to be used for your new formulation. You have to use it. Then you compress the tablet from that compression machine. That compressed tablet should go for coating, or if it is coating is not involved, then this should go for phase studies, clinical testing also, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 trials. Do you understand the importance of this pilot plant? It should go there for phase trials, right? So which machine you want to do it? Standardize that machine, compression machine, do that, right? This will go there. And from here the same idea, after the results you get it, the same technology you transfer to the production department, then they will adopt it and manufacture the tablets for the public. Okay, this is the next one, tablet coating area. So 2.1 is the coating pan, 36 inches diameter. In our machine room we have a small coating pan. This is 30 inches diameter coating pan. 20 inches diameter. Coating pan, perforated coating pan 24 inches diameter. Polishing pan, airless spray equipment 2.7. Area for preparing syrup solutions for sugar and film coating materials 2.6. It was missed. Fluidized bed coating apart. This is the coating area. So which type of coating you are going to use it for final formulation? Same equipment you should try it here also. So after trying from this coating, then you recommend this to the transfer this technology to the production department. They will adopt and compress the tablets. Okay, bench top for wall cabinets. So how it should be. Now I am not going to show every. Similarly for granulating also, various granulating equipments, granulation, converting the powder mass into granules. So granulating equipments here, mixing equipments are there, sieves are there, right? Blending, again mixing equipment, cleaning area, drying area, milling. This is how your floor plan of the pilot plant, right? Granulation, milling, packaging, conference room, manager office, and finally quarantine, storage area for the drugs and excipient. This is your floor plan of your pilot plant. Right now, small pilot plant, suppose that is the previous one was for big industries. Pilot plant, you can also have a small pilot plant. See here, 30 feet into 30, that means 900 square feet, right? 900. See, few tablet compression, few machines, granulating, drying, milling together, only fewer are there. Weighing and quarantine, fewer machines are there. Coating area also very few. This is also possible. Just imagine, very easily any organization can set up a pilot plant for newer formulations, right? Tablet compression, coating area. This is for quarantine and storage. So now I am going to take one example. Actually, actually, reality, in real, how this pilot plant is going to be done, right? Now you listen, later on during the regular class time I will explain once again. So now company planning to expand its tablet manufacturing facility. They have water insoluble neutral drugs were to be used in concentrations ranging from zero point 0.1 to 50 milligram. Water insoluble neutral drugs were to be used in concentration in zero point 0.1 to 5 milligram per tablet. Imagine each tablet contains 0.1 milligram to 5 milligram. How small size it is, right? So weight of the tablet 200 milligram. So in that 200 milligram, weight of the tablet is 200 milligram. In that 200 milligram, you are going to have the active ingredient 0.1 milligram. That is 1 is to 2000 ratio. 1 is to 2000 ratio. So what is the problem envisaged? The maintaining content uniformity could be a problem. 0.1 milligram will be very easily lost. So if you don't have a proper mixing, then this will go. Now this 0.1 milligram, now the 0.25 milligram production facility is planned to be expanded. Already they are having 0.25 milligram production. Now they are going to introduce 0.1 milligram. Do you understand? Already 0.25 milligram tablet facility is there. Now they are going to have new tablet with 0.1 milligram. So manufacturing procedures, they have, the company have organized 4 manufacturing procedures: wet granulation, micro granulation, direct compression and double compression. All these procedures were successfully used by the production department for 0.25 milli wet granulation, micro granulation, direct compression. You must be knowing about wet granulation, direct compression, double compression. Micro granulation I will explain in detail, don't worry. So selection of optimal procedure, simplicity of manufacture, physical properties of the finished tablets, content uniformity, dissolution rate, cost. These are all the parameters you have to remember when you are going for the pilot plant study, right? So now formulation of granules and right. This is the formulation. Don't worry too much about it, right? This is the drug 0.25 already. This is the available. They are already doing it with dry starch 10 milligram, right? For wet granulation. For micro granulation 11 milligram, direct compression 15, slugging, that is double compression or slugging 11. But let us go. This is starch dry as a this starch dry. Acacia powder is a binding agent. Lactose is the filler. You must be knowing lactose is the filler, right? Now for wet granulation, micro granulation, we are using directly lactose. In the case of direct granulation, direct compression, normally spray dried lactose are employed. Spray dried lactose. That is why it is coming here. Spray dried lactose, right? Here slugging also we are using lactose powder, right? Starch, acacia powder, purified water, dry starch, magnesium stearate. Total weight 150. Now once again I will tell you, the tablet weight is 150 milligram. It contains 0.25 milligram of the drug, right? So now dry starch, here the dry starch, and again here starch is used, again here dry starch is, 3 places starch are used, right? Now what is the idea of having 3 places starch? To increase the to improve the disintegration time. That means the tablet will disintegrate very soon, very quickly, when you add the starch powder at 3 different places. So here starch powder is used along with acacia and lactose along as diluents, right? Diluent, lactose, acacia powder binding agent. This is disintegrating agent. All 3 are mixed together. All 3 are mixed together, right? This starch powder, this acacia powder, purified water, these 3 are converted into paste, mucilage of starch or starch paste or granulating agent, right? These 3, this starch, this are converted into paste, right? Now using this paste, converting this powder mass into a granules, right? After granulation work is over, then dry starch, magnesium stearate powder are used as glidants and lubricants and glidants. These two powders are mixed with the dry granules. So this is the way we are preparing the wet granulation. In the case of micro granulation, similar. This is initially taken powdered well, right? Powdered well, purified water alone is used as the granulating agent, right? Granulating agent. Starch powder, magnesium stearate powder, talc powder are glidants, lubricants, anti-adhesive agents, right? There is no starch paste in this micro granulation formulation. Direct compression, these three are mixed together, no lactose. I mean, spray dried lactose are used. These four are taken, right? And after adding these two are directly compressed into tablets. There is no granulating stage here. And the slugging, once again these four are added, compressed, and then slugs are prepared. These slugs are passed through a mesh. After passing through the mesh, you will add these four powders: dry starch, magnesium stearate, right? All these four you are going to add it and make it up to 150 milligram, right? So here wet granulation, you have a starch paste. Here you have using only water. There is no granulation stage in direct. Here slugs are prepared and the slugs are passed through sieve. Then these the lubricating agents are added and then converted into tablets. Now quickly I will go through. Already you know about this wet granulation procedure. Drug plus excipient plus starch and acacia or the granulating agents. Add it into a planetary mixer. You will get the wet mass. This wet mass, right? Wet mass you pass through sieve number 8, dried at 45 degrees centigrade. Again pass through sieve number 16. So smaller granules you will get it. Again you will get granules. From these granules add starch powder, magnesium stearate powder, right? And then lubricants are added, compressed. You will get the tablets, right? You will get the tablet. This is how wet granulation method is being done. So now micro granulation is different from conventional granulation. So here relatively, second point, relatively small quantity of granulating liquid is added, right? Let us go into the next slide. So the drug is micronized, right? Add lactose, powdered acacia and starch, right? Micronized drug is added into the planetary mixer. Lactose is added, powdered acacia and starch are added, then moistened with minimum quantity of purified powder. This acacia and the starch present with the addition of this water, this acacia and starch will convert this powder mass into a coherent mass. Then from this you pass through sieve number 60. Once you pass through sieve number 60, you will get a very small granules. These small granules dried at 45 degrees centigrade and left overnight. That is no accelerated drying. You have to dry it at room temperature, right? That is dried at 40. Set the drying at 45, not room temperature. Set it at 45 degrees centigrade and leave it overnight. Right? So next day again pass it through 60 sieve. So any agglomerates are there, that will be broken. You will get a smooth, freely flowing micro granules. So now last procedure, third one is double compression, or you can say slugging or dry granulation. Any slugs are made using heavy duty press with 1 inches in diameter, very big slugging machines are used. The diameter is 1 inch. Right, just see the flow diagram. It's very simple. You prepare the slugs by adding the drug diluents, uh, starch powder, pass it through oscillating. Slugs are prepared. These slugs are passed through 16 mesh oscillating granulator. Add with lubricants, right? Then you compress it, you will get the tablets. You will get the, its procedure is very small. Easily you can prepare the slugs, pass through the slugs through a granulator. It will break down very quickly, and 16 mesh, the granules will be 16 pass through 16 mesh. Then these granules are mixed with lubricants, compress it and converted into tablets. So direct compression, last one, there is no granulation procedure here. Drug plus binder plus disintegrant plus anhydrous lactose or spray dried lactose, both are same. So all these taken, add it in geometric dilution. What is geometric dilution? You refer any good book, or I'll tell you later in directly in the class, right? And add lubrication, compress it, very simple. No, add mix everything and geometric dilution, right? Lubricate it and then compress it. What is geometric dilution? See, the drug content is very less for 0.25 milligram only. That means the drug is very less, and you are going to make it into a tablet. So geometric dilution is the best way to get a uniformly mixed granules. Then compress it into tablets. You will get directly compressed tablets. So compression by 4 methods, all the 4 methods you have used. Now the 16 station tableting machine are used with 4 stations only, right? 4 station means for one revolution only 4 tablets will be prepared. 16 station, the total 16 upper punch and lower punches are there. We are going to use only 4, right? The punches are sizing 5 bar 16 inches in diameter, right? So this is the punch. Particle size analysis performed before granulation, after granulation, after compaction disintegration by using set of names, electromagnetic sieving machine, right? Right. Now after compression and everything is over, this is the particle size. We have employed wet granulation method, micro granulation method, slugging or double compression method, and direct compression method. So what do we get? Average particle size in microns. In wet granulation method, the particle size is 322, micro granulation 100, slugging 410, direct compression 122. Log probability, semi log plot, both more or less we are getting the same result. Now this is the result, we got it. Now your question will be, sir, what do we understand from this one? What do we understand from this one? We have performed the pilot plant study for a formulation which is having 0.25 milligram. Now this is the result, we have got it, right? Now what we have to decide is whether as a farmer, as a company manager, which one I think best, efficiently, reproducibility, economically, which one I can produce it using this one. All will give the all gives the result of to my satisfaction. Finally, the particle sizes are different. In wet granulation method, I am getting 322 microns, micro 100 microns, slugging 410, direct compression 122. So what should I decide? Right? I can decide anything. Of all these things, which one gave efficient, all gave me the fantastic output, fantastic product. So manufacturing wise, I don't have any issues. But the issue is whether efficiency, whether economical, whether reproducibility, anything I can take it. Suppose I want to convert it into, I want to prepare it micro granules, and fill it into the capsules and dispense to the market, that I can do. or wet slug in direct compression. I can convert it, even micro also. I can compress it into tablet, send into the market. Anything I can decide based on the company's decision. So this is how a pilot plant study is being done. This is how a pilot plant study is being done. It can be done by either by the research pharmacist coming to the production area, or by the production department people, or by the research department people by themselves. So the finally the idea of all this pilot plant study, right, is to link the lab to the large scale manufacturing. How a small idea in the lab can be converted into large scale manufacturing that will reach to the public. So in between these two, a bridge is the pilot plant study, pilot plant. So in this pilot plant, we are converting and studying whether what we have done in the lab scale safely safely transferred into manufacture for the public in the company manufacturing, in the company large scale production. This is what you call, this is the importance of pilot plant study. So this is how this pilot plant study, this is what I have decided to take in. I hope you understood. As usual, if you have any doubts, any clarifications, you can always contact me. Thank you very much.